If your score on the context row of your rubric was lower than you'd like, it's pretty easy to fix, but to fix it, you've got to understand which kind of context you were missing and what it should sound like. So first, there's two kinds of context. Lots of people were missing general context. General context orients your reader to the general schema that he or she needs to understand the evidence later. So basically, that's like telling your reader what's the gist of 1984 or North Korea or Stalinist Russia. It's going to be relatively short, and you only need it once in your paper, the first time that you introduce a new place or a new book. So it's going to be about a sentence, and once you've done it once, you don't need to do it again for that type of evidence. Most people were missing general context. It's a relatively easy thing to add. The other kind of context is specific or evidence-based. And this gives your reader the background information that he or she needs to understand the specific piece of evidence that you've chosen. This might include what was said before a quote, or things that have already happened, or information about the source, things like that. And this has to happen every time you introduce a piece of evidence. Every piece of evidence is going to need some background information so that it makes sense to your reader. Most people did a pretty good job with specific or evidence-based context, but the general seemed to give people trouble. So this is what the general should look like. So for 1984, general context might look like this. 1984 by George Orwell is about a dystopia called Oceania. The main character, Winston, is a 38-year-old man who begins to realize his true feelings about the party and dictator, Big Brother. For North Korea, general basic context is North Korea, or the Democratic People's Republic of Korea, the DPRK, is a communist country now currently ruled by Kim Jong-un. And if you did use Maslow, and a few people did, you do have to give context for him as well. So I stole this from Brend. It says, Abraham Maslow was a psychologist who defined the basic needs of every human based on a hierarchy of needs. He accurately hypothesized that these needs could only be satisfied in order, meaning if the most basic of physical human needs could not be met, a human cannot achieve anything. So to fix your context, you need to determine whether you need general or specific context, figure out where that would be in your paper, and then add that to either give a gist of a type of evidence or to better set up a quote or a piece of evidence that you have chosen.